building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is the Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Welcome back, Giant Builders. Today's guest is Stacy Carlin, and she is an author. And welcome, Stacy. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Tell us about your book, please.
My book is called Love and Boundaries. I wrote the book, I started over a year and a half ago. And it's based on my life, my marriage, and each chapter pretty much sums up like a timeline, I would say, as things progressed down to the end and how I'm continuing.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to do with narcissistic abuse and how me, for example, I'm a nurse, and you can't even imagine, you think you're professional and it would never happen to you kind of thing. And then in the midst of it all, I couldn't figure out how I got to where I was. And I couldn't believe how far and deep into it I was. And I didn't even realize it until I was really kind of in a bad place.
What are some blocks to say, hey, you could be in this kind of position?
Well, for starters, when I think back, I know everybody's different, but pretty much they're all cookie cutter. They're going to wow you. They're going to tell you they are your soulmate. You're going to be given gifts, tons of gifts, and you can't believe you can't even imagine that it could be that perfect. You're wowed by it, and you kind of fall head over heels. You swear you'll never do something like that, but it's kind of funny how they kind of play into your, thoughts, what you like, your likes, dislikes. They really inquire. They want to know everything about you, almost like they're studying you. This way, down the road, when all is said and done, and it gets to that place where you pretty much call them out on it like I did, then they'll use some of those things against you. So everything you thought you were kind of, telling your best friend comes back to bite you.
Wow, that hurts.
Mm-hmm.
What suggestions or steps would you suggest once that happens, once they bite you?
I want to say you really need to kind of get your mindset back to what you were, because you lose yourself in the midst of it all. You put so much of your time and effort and your energy into that person that there's nothing left of you. You're exhausted. And I got to the point where, I had a great job before I got married, and then I was home and I didn't work. So here I am, and I'm thinking, can I do this for another 10, 20 years? How do I get a job? How can I refinance my house with just myself? I don't have any job history for X amount of years. All this stuff, health insurance. And then you're so exhausted. You're thinking, I don't even know if I could do this. Maybe I'll just hang in there. And then it just continues. But you got to get to that point where you get strong enough and say, I'm worth it. I need to stop, and I need to take care of me.
At what point, or what made the difference between your relationship with this person? At what point did you see that it was different?
I'll be honest with you. From the first year of marriage, it's like a switch went off. Everything came to a halt. But initially, you kind of pass it off as maybe they had a bad day, or they're stressed, or this or that. But then you're fighting for their attention after some time. And that's where that exhaustion sets in, and that you lose that oomph that you had. You lose. So it was
a different person while dating and then after marriage?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything you fell in love with, that person, they don't even exist. I guess my best analogy when it was all said and done, it's almost like, when you're young and somebody knocks you on your fanny and knocks the wind out of you. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt. That was the person I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. And how could they do that to you?
You also have a podcast.
I do. The reason I created that, and it's taking care of number and there's an F and a bunch of asterisks.
Okay.
Can't say that. Is because when I was in my marriage, I was looking for ways to get help because I knew there was just something not right. So I was reaching out to different, avenues to see how can I get help without him knowing that I'm doing this, just to confirm that I'm not crazy. Because you start second guessing yourself and there's a lot of doubt. I thought about it and I said, if you're a woman or a man and you're in that kind of relationship, you can't buy the book. You can't call me up and take any kind of classes. So if you're driving to work, you can listen to my podcast. If you're exercising, so it gives people that opportunity and that confirmation if they're having that doubt that they're not alone. And at least you get a little pep talk in you. And that might give you a little spirit, get your spirit back, to give you that drive to take care of you.
What kind of topics do you cover on your podcast?
I think boundaries are huge because everybody has boundaries.
Or should have boundaries.
And that's important. Yeah. And I've learned a lot. I don't allow you to cross that line. It doesn't matter who you are. I know my boundaries. And when I'm very passive and I let you do that, now you've taken over. So I cover boundaries, self-esteem, how to take care of yourself in social settings, even if you're out with a group of girls or something and we're all out together and all the girls are like, oh, go ahead, have a drink. And I don't want a drink. I just want my water with lemon. Have your water with lemon. Just because they say, go ahead, do it, doesn't mean you have to. Take care of you, be yourself, and don't worry about what others think. Stop worrying about everybody else. Put that energy into you and you're going to flourish.
Oh, that's great. I mean, peer pressure is there no matter how old you are.
That's right. And it's what you allow. Yeah. And that's what I enjoyed about watching your page. It's spiritual. It's about yourself and healing and just good energy.
Well, thank you.
And I like that because even for myself now, your antenna goes up if you're out with a group of people and you could kind of get a feel or a vibe about somebody. And if they're kind of negative, the brakes kind of, and I just don't want anything to do with them. I mean, you're cordial, but you're a little more skittish as far as, do I, don't I? And it's okay to be that way.
Yeah, it's better to turn away from something than try to lower yourself to your standards.
Exactly, because that's a lot of negative energy, and that's what you're leaving or hoping to leave, because that's what's sucking the life out of you pretty much. You want to be around people that are light and airy, and it's a healthy feel.
Otherwise, I'd rather just stay home and watch TV.
Exactly. And the nurse in me, when you think about it, people that are in, going through chemo or have cancer, your mindset is huge. That's everything there. So you always want to have a positive mindset. Otherwise, it'll affect you internally. And then after a while, these mental issues become physical. And it's going to take a toll on us because that other person, they don't care.
What does the first meeting with you look like?
Well, the first meeting, I like to just, like you and I are, we're just sitting and talking. I want you to feel comfortable. It's kind of building a trust, a rapport. I tell them about me a little bit because I'm no different than you. We've walked the same path. I've walked in your shoes. You've walked in mine. So it's kind of like having coffee, I guess. I'm very down to earth. Ask me a question. I want to learn about you. And you have to build that trust back. And the trust is huge, especially after a relationship like that. Whether like it's somebody in a workplace, it doesn't have to be a significant. It could be another woman. It could be a parent.
Yeah.
It's just that personality type, unfortunately. And you're not going to change them. So I like to just kind of get a foundation and build a little trust. Because otherwise you're not going to get everything from that person. And if you don't have a good foundation, it's just all going to, you're not going to get anywhere. So
probably a lot of mental turning around if it was a parent, because that's something you spent a lot of time in your developing years
Yes. So that has to do a lot with like your self-esteem, because that's instilled in you from deep down. So you're almost like rebuilding. And I'll be honest with you, for myself, I could speak, and people that I have worked with online, I promise them and they actually do. Like, for example, I was in a good place, then that happened. I don't have any ill feelings right now. I'm happy because I'm actually in a better place now than I was ever before. It's given me that drive. I get that back into people, that oomph, and they just take off with it. And they go back to relationships even that they lost throughout that whole cycle, that period, because you become closed off and you're more introverted as opposed to possibly maybe you were an extrovert. And it's sad, but I help them rebuild their relationships too if they want to, whatever was important to them inside.
Oh, well, that's
and that teaches them that they can't control how the other person is, no matter who it is. You can put it out there and then it's on their end.
Any closing thoughts?
I think we need to start looking. If you have children, as a mother, for example, and I know a lot of people don't, or family members, you put so much love and time into everybody else. Well, maybe you need to be your own mother and say, look, you had a really shitty day. You need to maybe take a hot bath early and put some big socks on, and you can shut the blinds off and you can get a good cry in the shower. You'll probably sleep pretty darn good. Start taking care of you. Be your own mother or father. Baby, you deserve it. Because like they say, if the ship goes down, we all go down. You need to start fussing over yourself a little bit more, I think.
Oh,
And
that's
stop
great.
putting everything into everyone else. Because one day you're going to wake up and say, where did my life go? And it's going to be over. And did you really make yourself happy? You were so busy doing it for everybody else, you didn't balance it.
Or on the other hand, they all grow up and they're all gone, and then you don't know what to do.
Right, because you forgot what you are. You've
Right.
lost yourself. So you got to find the balance. Balance is important. And, just loving yourself, you need that. Everybody needs it. And wake up every day and think of something good to do. Just walk out with a positive attitude. Nobody can mess that up on you because you're in control. That's your boundary, right?
You are in control.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I'm sorry, what's the name of your book again?
I actually have it.
Oh, Love It, Boundaries. Okay.
The crazy thing in here is Thomas John. He travels all over the world. He helped me endorse this book and get it out there for people because he felt so strongly about it. And he actually traveled and came here and spent some time with my family, a few hours. It was really nice. And we took some pictures.
That's
So it was,
great.
yeah, it felt good. And he had a lot of good feel for it too. So it made it a little extra special. Yeah.
How can people get in touch with you?
So you can reach me, stacycarlin.com.
Okay.
And if you go on Amazon, even, and you just put my name in, my name comes up, the book comes up, the podcast comes up. You can find me pretty much anywhere.
Oh, great. Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Stacy, I really appreciate your time, and I'm so glad that you have come to where you are.
And I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. It was an honor, actually, because like I said, I like the way you do things. You're a very sweet person.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Giant Builders, we'll see you next time. Thanks, Stacy.
Be well.
You too.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.